It's been nearly 100 years since participants in the women's suffrage movement fought for and earned the right to vote. Since that time, feminists have tackled a variety of issues, including domestic violence, equal pay in the workplace, legal equality, sexualization of women in the media, and reproductive rights. As feminism has grown and changed over time, so have perceptions of the movement. This research study seeks to understand how men and women understand and define feminism today, and how men and women come to identify or not identify themselves as feminists. While previous research on this topic is very limited, studies have found that people most commonly identify feminism with ideas of women being equal to men, women being superior to men, and women being empowered. However, when asked to define feminist, previous studies have found that people often use negative terms such as aggressive and crazy, and positive terms such as intelligent and knowledgeable. Clearly, these terms represent very different views on feminism that exist today. Previous research had also shown that about 1/4 of the population today identify themselves as feminist, with more women than men embracing the title. This current study is qualitative by design, meaning that I sought to gain an in-depth understanding of individuals' unique experiences that are not necessarily generalizable or representative of everyone. I conducted 6 in-depth interviews that were an average of 30 minutes in length. My participants were 3 men and 3 women, and the average age for the men was 33 and for women was 30. After the interviews, I transcribed the recordings and proceeded to read through them multiple times in order to identify common ideas. Then, through the process known as the constant comparative method, common ideas were grouped into 3 overarching categories, or themes. The 3 themes I identified in this study were a stereotypical versus a modern understanding of feminism, a belief in the need for feminism in today's society, and embracing the title of feminist. First, through participants' processes of explaining what feminism is and what beliefs it entails, and who feminists are and what characteristics they have, participants enacted a pattern of explaining feminism and feminists in terms of a dichotomy, or separate opposites. References to the dichotomy often occurred in a me versus them pattern, whereby participants offered their own positive conceptualizations of feminism and feminists as opposite of what other people's stereotypes were. When offering explanations for feminism, participants commonly explained it as a movement for women's equality, particularly workplace equality. Participants also commonly explained feminism in terms of feminist. Modern understandings included positive words like individualized, self-realized, intelligent, driven, progressive, global thinker, and positive, whereas stereotypical understandings included negative words like aggressive, abrasive, radical, and pushy. This is what was seen in the first theme. Second, participants in this study expressed a belief in the need for feminism in today's society. Interestingly, when asked about personal experiences with feminism and feminists, many participants couldn't identify any. But when asked about the role of feminism in today's society, all participants agreed feminists were necessary to fight for equality, opportunities, and rights for women. Many participants focused on equality in the workforce with issues like equal pay. Some participants also expressed feminism was needed to work towards human rights for men and for women in both America and globally. This is what was seen in the second theme. Third, participants viewed being a feminist as a positive thing, and 4 out of 6 participants identified themselves as feminist. Despite some assertions that feminism was generally a women's movement, all 3 males in this study openly identified themselves as feminists. On the other hand, only 1 female directly identified herself as a feminist, whereas another qualified her answer, saying she was kind of a feminist, and the 3rd female said on a feminist spectrum she was closer to being a feminist than not. Participants explained that they came to identify as being feminist in ways that affirmed previous research. Specifically, all participants who identified themselves as feminist referred at least one of the following: having strong women role models in their lives, being exposed to women's studies in an academic setting, or experiencing gender discrimination. This is what was seen in the 3rd theme. A number of interesting findings arose to this study that offered deeper insights into how men and women understand and define feminism, and how they come to identify themselves as feminist. This study reveals a unique pattern of describing feminism in terms of a dichotomy, a unique focus on economic equality, and saw more males identify themselves as feminists than was originally expected. This study supports previous research and lays a foundation for future studies. For more information on this study, please contact the researcher and author at Courtney652@live.missouristate.edu.